Welcome to For Love Only. I am Kumud
And I am Kajal.
and this is our first long form video and we're gonna be talking about a lot of things that we really honestly go through and it's going to be unfiltered.
Yes, unfiltered is the word.
Let's just start from the top. Right when we were baby therapists, when we just graduated.
Yes, I think I remember the first day that I started work, and just right before getting into it, I thought, ki, oh, okay, there's a checklist that we need to figure. Ki, there's a scheduled call first where you get some information about the client, and then you book an appointment. Then you have a proper setup where you have a closed room, couple of chairs, sofa, coffee table, pillows, etc. And the seating arrangement is actually L-shaped. It's supposed to be adjacent and not just right across. This was the preparation that I had for starting, and turns out as I entered my first office as a therapist, I was met with chaos. I, of course, did not have a private room at all. Not only I did not have any access to like table, chair, I didn't even have a desk where I could, keep my book to write the notes that I was making. I had to keep it on my lap. There would be people around, there would be noises coming in. The child could be called in and out of the therapy session, or if we can call it that. So it was nothing out of the books at all. And I think that's what we want to talk about today, therapy in Indian context, if it exists.
Yeah. So Kajal and my first job were at the same place. So Kajal started working at a childcare institution and I started working with the youth who were at the childcare institutions at one point, and now they are just like in the system. I would go in and out of the institution as well. There was nothing, we didn't have anything. The L-shaped seating, and wow, what is an L-shaped seating? Nothing was possible and it was unconventional. We didn't know what was there. We thought at least there would be willingness to therapy. We never thought to even think about ki okay, willingness देखना पड़ेगा क्या है, but we always thought ki that's the basic premise, but that was not. These children, these youths, they were not willing to be here. They just had to be here because of the system, because of the orders, because of every other thing. They just had to be here. So all our knowledge went to the dump. Now we don't know what to do because the client is only not willing to begin with. So what to do?
And I think the question here is, does willingness even exist where there is absolute absence of the concept of therapy? Matlab, when I don't know what therapy is, what's it supposed to do for me, and why does it exist at all, how am I supposed to figure if I am willing to be a part of the process? Because as a child, especially institutionalized child, and these are children from underprivileged backgrounds, especially with the kids that I was working with, and so therapy does not exist as a concept to start with. So I think willingness is very far-fetched.
So all our conversation today, they are going to be about what we were taught versus what really happened. And because we're taught things in a certain way, we're taught treatments, modalities, thought processing, words, language and all that stuff, the setting, the context and how we should act, we should sit, we should talk. But it just doesn't turn out that way. Although we know that our space was already on top of everything an unconventional space. But there are so many nuances that come to it that if this childcare institution was not in India, there might have been something different. There might have been maybe a dedicated space at least. In Indian context, our education looks very different and we essentially learn on the job, all of us. We don't know what is happening while we are studying. We learn on the job. As scary as that sounds, yes, your therapist learns on the job. Oof.
So therapy language, when we talk about emotional regulation, how do you explain, how do you present emotional regulation due to that?
I don't know. I don't know. Like जब बच्चों से बात करते हैं, हम बोलने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आप अपने आप को शांत कैसे करोगे वापस, but शांत cannot be a baseline. Emotional regulation does not mean शांत. They will never understand what I mean. जब मेरे पास ही वो gap है कि I don't know what I'm learning. How do I communicate it?
We don't have the language that translates exactly how we want to, how we intend to. I think when we talk about self-reflection, sitting with your feelings, emotional regulation, providing a safe space, it all comes with the prejudice that, oh, they might have heard these concepts. We do have to spend time and energy and poor clients' money sometimes on explaining what I actually mean to translate. This is a safe space जहाँ पे you can trust us, you can tell us your stories, you can tell us about your feelings, emotions, and we are not going to judge you. अब मैं कैसे बोलूँ? मैं आपको judge नहीं करने वाली. मैं आपको क्या नहीं करने वाली? मैं judge हिंदी
मैं आपको एग्जैक्टली राइट. सी आधा टाइम हमारा साइको एजुकेशन में जा रहा है. पहली बात, वो उनको भी साइको एजुकेट कर रहे हैं जिनके पास एक्सेस है. पहली बात, जिनके पास प्रिविलेज है ऑफ नोइंग दिस कि ये कहाँ एग्जैक्टली अप्लाई कर रहा है, क्योंकि हम बहुत ही गैप में सीख रहे हैं, हमारी पढ़ाई की और एक्चुअल एप्लीकेशन में जो गैप है। एंड वो साइको एजुकेशन में टाइम लग रहा है, पैसे लग रहे हैं उनके, तो उनकी विलिंगनेस ऑफकोर्स कम हो रही है। बैक टू द विलिंगनेस कि क्यों हम आए, क्योंकि पैसे लग रहे हैं। एंड देन इसके बाद जो अदर एस्पेक्ट्स आते हैं, जब वो थेरेपी रूम में आ जाते हैं, इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में सोचो, आप अकेले किसी इंसान के साथ, अननोन के साथ रूम में बंद होना चाहेंगे?
Sounds so wrong.
It sounds so wrong. Yeah.
Privacy is such a privileged word. I think I'm using privilege a lot of times. But therapy does come from a place of privilege.
Therapy
And
is a privileged concept.
it is. It so is. Kyunki what is privacy in Indian context? We hardly ever have rooms to ourselves.
They have had difficulties that, oh, I cannot let my parents hear these things. They cannot know I'm in therapy. My young adult clients, they would not be comfortable sharing. Even the older ones, they would not be comfortable. They are walking in the gardens while taking therapy. They would hope that they could sit in a coffee shop. So where is the concept of privacy? Where is that safe space that we keep talking about, that confidential space? So we are not even able to build the basics of therapy when it comes to executing it in India.
Yeah, therapy in Indian context. I think it has way more steps of what is taught to us. Ki it's not just appointing and then rapport building, then okay, let's talk about more. It's about ki pehle to psycho-educating so much about what therapy is, because I think they also come in with idea ki therapists are the experts and they are going to find all the answers here. So a lot of time goes into psycho-education and then trying to translate what we actually need. Then of course it's a huge hindrance ki people can't share with their family that they are in therapy. I also face the same thing where my clients take therapy only when they're away from home, like when they're studying in a different city वगैरह, and when they go back to their own city they are not taking therapy anymore, and which really contributes the gap in treatment that India faces. Because the treatment gap in India is 80-90%, because for treatment to actually happen, not just you coming to therapy, but the treatment process that you need to retain your client, but with so many obstacles it's almost impossible, and I don't think we were given the tools to combat those.
For sure. So like I think two very main things that you spoke about. One is just the taboo behind therapy, like what is counseling, आपको क्यों जाना है therapist, वो तो हम सब जानते हैं, basic हर किसी का है, हर किसी के family में है. We are fighting our families in why we have learned this course, why are we therapists. We have come here through psycho-educating them, and just encountering that taboo is so tiring. It's such an exhausting process. It's really bewildering to me that we expect a client who is going through so much distress to also counter this taboo and stigma and then be able to seek help. तो उनका ऑलरेडी डिस्ट्रेस इतना बढ़ जाता है. आई थिंक समथिंग एल्स दैट यू स्पोक अबाउट वाज जस्ट देयर आर सो मेनी स्टेप्स इन आवर साइको एजुकेशन एंड जस्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग थिंग्स. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट हाउ द कन्वेंशनल थेरेपी इज, देयर आर सो मेनी फैक्टर्स दैट कम इनटू प्ले. सम पीपल आर लाइक आप डॉक्टर हो, उनको पता नहीं अभी थेरेपिस्ट क्या है. आप डॉक्टर हो, आप बताओ मुझे क्या करना है. दैट्स ऑल्सो समथिंग दैट यू सेड. दे आर जस्ट लुकिंग फॉर आंसर्स कि दवाई दे देता है डॉक्टर, आप ही मुझे सोल्यूशन दे दोगे शायद. एंड देन द एज पार्ट वेयर यू जस्ट लाइक इफ देयर इज अ ओल्डर क्लाइंट की दे विल बी लाइक व्हाट डू यू नो. I am older, because in our society being older means wise. So we just have to go through all of that. The patriarchy is so glaringly visible in our culture all the time. Male female का gender dissolve करने में ही इतना टाइम लग जाएगा. वो जो discomfort होगा अगर फीमेल है, थेरेपिस्ट हो या क्लाइंट हो, वो डिस्कम्फर्ट को अभी हो सकता है एक थेरेपिस्ट रेजिस्टेंस समझ के चले, तो आप क्या करोगे? क्योंकि आपको तो वेस्टर्न कॉन्सेप्ट ये सिखाता है कि ये तो रेजिस्टेंस है, पर वो रेजिस्टेंस नहीं है. शायद वो डिस्कम्फर्ट है जिसको काउंटर करना पड़ेगा, जिसको समझना पड़ेगा इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. पर ये सब हम किससे शेयर करें, हम कैसे बताएं, हम समझे कैसे? ऑल दीज आर सच न्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड दीज थिंग्स, दीज hindrances keep making us feel that maybe we are incompetent. Essentially we know how to do therapy, but we don't know how to do therapy with the people we are actually supposed to do therapy with. Another biggest thing comes of individualistic and the collectivistic part, you know. All therapy modalities focus a lot on therapy as an individual process.
That is very true. It is very individualistic because it is one-to-one.
Yeah.
You are talking to your therapist, and as a therapist I'm talking to just one person as a client, and that is very possible and very relevant in the Western context, because after a point you are expected to separate from your parents, separate from your family, and build a life of your own where you're making your own money, you have your own vehicle, you have your own house, own room, definitely. But in the Indian context, for the majority of the population, if I can say, they never live alone. They almost never live alone. You live with your parents until you get married, and then you get married into another family. So you're always operating as a unit. It is extremely difficult to deal with complete unit at all times.
Yeah. The section that doesn't feel all of this is the privileged. Everyone who is currently able to take therapy and pay 2,000, 2,500 per session, while everyone, the masses need this to be accessible, that is a different conversation for another time. Why therapy is so expensive and all that. So our master's curriculum does not talk about the family, does not talk about the systems that the person, the child, the adult, any person exists in. The politics of it, right? The systems of gender, caste, class, which are so prominent in India. And just your positioning in the society, the moral ideas of India are so strong. All these things, they are just very difficult. You cannot, as a therapist, not know all of this and just be working in a room, as Kajal said, you and I, that's it. But the you exists along with me in so many different systems, in so many, it's all interconnected. While there are recent approaches, the upcoming approaches, intersectional approaches, the systems-based approaches, and they are able to concentrate on that. But are they taught in your regular classes? Are they taught in your master's classes? You are taught that in a mix of like 5 different approaches.
Yeah.
कि ये होता है.
So I had this client one time who said, I know my family treats me like this, but I don't want to be ungrateful. Kyunki, of course, when you are complaining about your family, so you are ungrateful and you're not supposed to be ungrateful of your parents' sacrifice. So that is where you start. When this is our starting point, so abhi how are we going to talk about abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, which is so, it is a common practice, but it still has its impacts.
Definitely.
So just because it happens with a lot of people and almost everybody, it stays with them. It is something that needs work. It is definitely something that needs to be addressed in therapy. But I think the conceptualization and the lack of context that we have as therapists to work with it.
The ideas of boundary and what she said. So if someone is going through all of this, they have experienced all of it. But it's such a normalized experience in Indian culture of being maybe verbally abused, maybe talked very rudely in their childhood, slapped few times. But it's a normal experience that has affected them. They want to work on it. But how much do they want to work on it? What is their sense of boundary? उनका लैंग्वेज में बाउंड्री क्या है उनके लिए, वो क्योंकि डिसरिस्पेक्ट नहीं करना चाहते हैं, ये नहीं सिखाते कि आप एक ही डेफिनेशन ऑफ बाउंड्री नहीं हो सकता है. आप उनके लिए हम कैसे बाउंड्री सेट कर सकते हैं जिनका कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ही एल्डर्स को डिसरिस्पेक्ट करना इज अ लार्जेस्ट शेम. कि you cannot detach yourself from the family, you cannot be away from your family. It's a collective that you have to be a part of. It's very difficult to see, even ourselves when we came into the field, to have come that lack of understanding of this. And it's very difficult to cover it while we are certified and while we are the responsible treating professionals. So it's very unfair to them. Gap is so prominent.
So when we talk about the idea of therapy, what therapy looks like, all of us imagine, whoever has heard of it, imagines it in the Western context. And even people with the privilege of the accessibility of therapy view it as that, and they are also provided with the similar experience. I had this interaction with a friend of mine while I was in my masters. We were also taught some alternative therapies called alternative indigenous therapy, which included mindfulness, yoga exercises. It's mostly called an alternative, but it really works as a complementary to therapy. And he was like, do you believe that it works? I actually don't have to believe in it in the first place. It is supposed to be what works for the client. Within the Indian context, more people would have heard of yoga practices, of breathing practices than about therapy. They also understand yoga better. They also look at yoga with much less taboo, and it is helpful. We have evidence that it works, so why not?
Definitely. As a teenager, I've been to these yoga retreat camps, yoga boot camps, meditation boot camps. Don't ask me why. But there was just a time when I was doing all this and it didn't feel wrong. The understanding of meditation and yoga and pranayam, asanas, I think that helped me at that time. Does not mean that anyone who is asking someone to try that out or is believing in that does not mean that they are saying that it can replace therapy per se. पर आप अगर डांस मूवमेंट थेरेपी पे बिलीव करते हो, आप योगा पे क्यों नहीं बिलीव कर सकते? Is a point. And as said, it is a complementary. If you look at Indians, they understand this better. What is the problem in incorporating your native skills, native strengths? As therapists, it's very difficult to let go of the idea, Western ideas. It's very difficult to let go of that crutch because then we are lost in the sea.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do. We don't know where to go next because then we have to do our own thinking and create our own things, and that's uncomfortable. That's scary. That insecurity always stays. So we use whatever has been taught to us. We think that that must be right. That must be the only way because it is a profession which has a huge responsibility, which puts a lot of responsibility on the therapist. It's bound to be scary, but it's important to acknowledge the local, the native strengths and skills for us to facilitate this better in a larger scale. That they would be able to use the skills that they already have in a way much better than the ones that we teach them, which are foreign to them. It's so random that there are so many more things to talk about. We are just uncovering parts of it. I'm sure there are many others who are just going through all of this, who are just not able to place themselves in this large sea of Eurocentric, westernized idea of therapy while they are failing and trying and doing everything possible to be legit in that therapy space.
Yeah, our intention with this video is acknowledging the gap in our curriculum, in our syllabus, and then the practice on ground, and also acknowledging the failure therapists feel when they step into the field. We want to just stir up a conversation at the end of the day. It does not have to be just us facilitating. I'm sure we have not come up with this very unique experience and very unique idea, but we definitely want to participate in this conversation, and we also want to invite more and more people, explore the ideas and lessen the gap in our studies to practice. And I think For Love Only is supposed to be that space for therapists.
Our whole idea when we started this whole segment is also an insight to the idea of the therapist community circle. We cannot stop talking about it. Is because how important that is. Others may have navigated, the experts, the experienced ones may have navigated in their own ways, and they might be doing things to make it work out for themselves. It might have taken so much longer. We can reduce that time. We can learn from each other. We can spend time with each other sharing our experiences. We can talk about all these struggles and have a community where these thoughts do not feel they are not real. It's actually happening. It is not my failure. I'm not inadequate, but it is also a gap that needs to be addressed by the larger community and needs to be talked about more. Nothing that we've spoken about, as Kajal said, news. Nothing is news. It's all normal stuff. It's sort of a rant almost that all this is happening. But we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It needs to be common knowledge for clients also. They should know that this is what is happening.
For this very purpose of creating a space where therapists can meet and talk about and share experience and learn from each other's wisdom is why we have come up with Coffee with Therapists. And our next therapy circle of Coffee with Therapists is going to be in Raipur, which is hometown of this girl here.
Because this idea of, limiting knowledge to also metro cities really irks us. Limiting knowledge to spaces that are accessible. It's a good start, but it just feels like, why not? And so yes, next we meet you in Raipur. We talk about these things more and more and discuss this more and more in Raipur. And we keep doing this every month because it's an endless conversation and it's an endless education of ourselves through each other, with each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a nice line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrapping up, I guess.